You know, when we think about universities, our minds usually go straight to the same old things: stressful exam nights, endless stacks of textbooks, and those long lectures that seem to go on forever. But if you step back and look past those heavy stone walls and ancient libraries, you realize these places are actually living, breathing archives of the strange and the secret. There's this whole other world beneath the surface, full of brilliant pranks, secret societies, and accidental discoveries that most people never even hear about. It's funny because most of us assume the oldest universities in the world are in Europe, maybe Oxford or Bologna. But the truth is actually much more interesting. According to the Guinness World Records, the oldest degree-granting university that's still running today is actually Al-Qarawiyyin in Morocco. And the best part? It was founded in the year 859 by a woman named Fatima al-Fihri. She took her entire inheritance and poured it into creating this center for learning. It's incredible to think that the very foundation of the modern university system traces back to the vision of a single woman in the 9th century. But as these institutions grew older, they also became more mysterious. If you go to a place like Yale, you'll hear whispers about Skull and Bones. It's probably the most famous secret society in the world, and it's almost impossible to get into. They meet in a windowless building they call the Tomb. There are stories about weird rituals and rumors that they actually keep historical remains there, like the skull of the Apache leader Geronimo. When you realize that its members have included US presidents and the heads of massive global corporations, those rumors start to feel a little more chilling. While some secrets are hidden in societies, others are literally hidden underground. Universities like Columbia, Cornell, and Caltech sit on top of massive networks of tunnels. They were originally built for steam pipes, but over the decades, they became a sort of parallel world for students. At Columbia, there's this legend that some of those tunnels led straight to the secret Manhattan Project labs, where they were working on the atomic bomb. Some sections are actually still sealed off today because they're supposedly still radioactive. Of course, not every university tradition is that dark. Some are just beautifully, brilliantly weird. Take Oxford, for example. At Merton College, on the night the clocks go back for daylight savings, students dress up in full formal academic gear and spend an hour walking backward around the quad. They aren't just being eccentric. They genuinely claim it's a ceremony to maintain the continuity of the space-time continuum. Then you have a place like Stanford, where things are a bit more outdoorsy. There's an unofficial tradition called fountain hopping, where you aren't considered a true student until you've taken a dip in every major fountain on campus before you graduate. But even the fun stuff has a layer of intense academic pressure. If you think your finals are hard, imagine trying to get into All Souls College at Oxford. For a long time, their entrance exam was famous for the one-word essay. You'd be handed an envelope, and inside was a single word, something like innocence, water, or chaos. That was it. You had 3 hours to write a deep, philosophical, and brilliant essay on just that one word. They've changed the format recently, but that one-word legend still stands as a symbol of just how high the bar is in those circles. And speaking of high standards, the libraries at these places are on a whole different level. The Bodleian Library in Oxford is one of the oldest in the world, and they have a rule that is absolutely non-negotiable. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can take a book out. Even King Charles I tried to borrow a book back in 1645, and the librarian straight up told the King of England no. To this day, every new student has to sign a formal oath promising they won't bring any fire, not even a candle or a cigarette, into the library. That sense of preservation is everywhere. At Harvard, the Widener Library has a story that's actually quite heartbreaking. It's named after Harry Widener, a Harvard graduate and book lover who tragically went down with the Titanic. His mother donated millions to build the library in his memory, but she had some very specific conditions. One was that the exterior could never be changed, which is why, when they needed more space, they had to build the new floors deep underground. She also insisted that a fresh bouquet of flowers be placed in Harry's memorial room every single day, a tradition the university still honors over a century later. There was even a long-standing rumor that she made Harvard implement a mandatory swimming test for all students, just so no one else would suffer her son's fate. It turns out the swimming requirement was real for a long time, though it didn't actually come from her will. Still, it just goes to show how these stories, whether they're myths or facts, become the fabric of the university experience. It's not just about the degrees. It's about becoming part of a story that's been unfolding for hundreds, sometimes even 1,000 years.